In this training, we will demonstrate how to enter details to build the cash flow of a plan. We will look at features and functionality along the way, including what the timing screen is used for and how to add, edit, and delete events, goals, and stages. If you are already logged in to planwithvoyant.com, you will see your home screen here. To add a client into your software, you will go down here in the bottom right corner and click your plus button and select Create Client. This is where you will enter your initial client's information. Be sure to enter their retirement status. In this example, Jane is not yet retired, and you're going to click Done. This will take you to the dashboard. The next thing we're going to want to do is to continue adding the other persons in this plan. So I'm going to go to my plus button again and add in Jane's spouse. So Jane's spouse's name is John. I'm going to enter in his birth year and his retirement status. He is also not currently retired. I'll click this down arrow here and save and add another. And enter in their child, 10 years old. Click Done. So we now have all 3 people in the plan. You can see here under your people section each person in the plan. You can also note they will each have a specific color assigned to them, so any events in their name will be corresponding to this color. Next, we are going to go to our plan settings and just review the numbers in here. Now, these are going to be your Voyant defaults. We do encourage you to take a look at these and make adjustments where you think necessary. So I'm going to change, in this plan, I'm going to change my savings growth rate to 0, and I'm going to change the investment growth rate to 5%. Under my fees, I'm going to set to 0. This will mean that there will be 0.5% taken off of your investment growth rate. We do encourage you to take a look at each of these and make adjustments where necessary. One thing to point out is that if you are a white label subscriber, you will be able to make custom portfolios and custom market assumptions for your firm. You can reach out to support@planwithvoyant.com for more information about our white label program. Your liquidation order can be changed by moving these up or down. Same with your savings order. And your calculation settings. Some helpful settings here might be to transfer all excess income to savings and just to transfer excess income to savings in retirement only. So all excess funds, all surplus funds in Voyant are considered spent, but you can adjust these settings here if you would like to assume them to be saved. I am also going to show you the taxes section, and I'm going to make a couple of adjustments here to Jane's taxation rate. We're going to add in a state income tax rate, and if you have taxes due from the previous year, you can enter them here. We're also going to adjust John's tax rate. And click Done. Another thing that is helpful when you're working in the software is to go to your silhouette and select Preferences and make sure that your Inline Help is switched on. This gives you access to all of the help desk information, videos, articles, etc. that are available to you. For example, anywhere you see these green underlined dots, that means that there is a help article attached to it, where you can get more information about what debt is considered in Voyant. There will be a video showing you how to enter debt, and then our General Help tab. You'll notice whenever you enter a person that a corresponding cash sweep account will be created. Cash sweep accounts are created automatically. Voyant uses these to sweep surplus funds from, say, asset liquidations, windfalls. If the software hasn't gotten instructions to deposit them elsewhere, they will go into here. These grow by the savings defaults from your plan settings, and you are able to change growth rates at the individual item level. So for example, if you would like to have monies from, for example, an asset liquidation not sweep into this account, you can set up sweep options. And if there are savings accounts or investments accounts in your plan, you will see them listed here. Now, let's go to the timeline screen. This is the framework of the plan. The timing of everything is based on events. For example, here you can see the retirement umbrellas and the mortality events that are set as defaults in the plan. Anything that happens in a particular year needs an event. This is also a nice place to bring your clients to show the key life events over time in their plan and to personalize it. Some events are added automatically, like these retirement events and mortality events. The default for mortality events is 90, but you can edit these to move them and change life expectancy by simply clicking and dragging along the timeline. We have some key events that I am going to add into this timeline. At age 75, I would like to add an event where they would be stepping down their expenses. Most likely start traveling a little bit less. So I'm going to give it a icon, this boat that just correlates to the event, and then I am going to click Save and add another. The next thing that I would like to add is they have also said that they would like to remodel their kitchen around age 48. I'm going to add the remodel, use the house icon, and change it to age 48. And we're going to click Done. The next thing that we're going to do is add goals. Now, goals are trackable expenses. It's up to you what you categorize as goals versus expenses. I like using goals for future ambitions rather than the have to. For example, day-to-day expenses. A goal can be something one-off like in here, or ongoing, for example, a retirement spending goal of $30,000. To do a one-time goal, $30,000. I'm going to move this to a luxury expense, name it kitchen remodel, and on the timing screen I'm going to attach it to that remodel event in the plan. Set that as my start event and click Done. As there is no income in the plan currently, it is going to show this as a 0% progress on the goal. Going back to the dashboard, I would like to point out this spike in expenses. And again, since there's no income in this plan currently, it's going to show that $30,000 kitchen remodel goal as shortfall. If you were to move the event on the timeline, for example, to age 49 and go back to the dashboard, you will see that that goal will move in correspondence with the event. For now, I'm going to move it back to age 48. And to delete an event, if you ever need to do this, you would simply click on the event and click the trash can icon here. Stages is another way to personalize your client's plan. So in this plan, I will add a stage that begins when they step down their expenses. I'm going to change that color to orange, and stage ends at mortality. I'm going to name this later life stage and click Done. You can also customize these default stages. So for example, if I wanted to name this one early retirement or traveling years, anything like that, you can totally customize these. Going back to our dashboard, I'm going to add in some expenses. Go to expenses, do multi-year expenses, and we're going to do just our general living expenses for the year. I'm going to put those at $30,000 annually. I'm going to leave this priority at basic. You will notice that there is an inflation rate applied to these expenses, and this is going to be based off of what is in your plan settings. However, if you ever want to customize a specific expense or a specific account, you can edit this and it will only apply to this expense. You You will also notice on the timing screen that this expense is scheduled to start when the plan starts and end at mortality. And I'm going to enter in their yearly travel expenses. For example, let's say they spend $20,000 a year on leisure expenses. There is the increase with inflation. I'm going to put this at leisure. And I also want to make sure that we're stepping down these expenses when they hit 75. So I'm going to step them down from 20,000 to 10,000 and assign the timing to their stepping down expenses event. Set that as my step timing and click done. That was all done within the steps section of this expense. Steps are a great tool to use it to alter the value of expenses, change the growth rate of an investment, increase or decrease contributions to investments at a future event. I'm going to click out of here, save that, and we're going to go back to our dashboard. And now that we've added in some expenses, you can see your basic expenses and your total need between these blue and black lines on the dashboard. Back over here on the dashboard, now that we've entered in some expenses, you will see both a blue and black line on the chart, and these reflect both basic expenses and total expenses. Now let's add in some income. If you go down here to your green plus button and select income, we will add in Jane's employment first. Jane currently makes $75,000 per year, and I am going to save and add another and select John's employment. You do have the option to make this employed, self-employed, or company owner. I'm going to leave this at employed and enter in his salary and click done. Now that we have some income in the plan, as the dashboard comes in, you will now see blue in the plan, which reflects all inflows, so all income coming into the plan, and you will see that that income drops off completely at the retirement age. Note that the blue over this black line denotes any surplus, which is assumed spent unless you change that setting in plan settings. Let's also bring in our year view. If you turn on your year view, you can see what is occurring behind the scenes within a plan year on year. There are tabs for cash flow, expenses, investments, retirement, property, debt, protection, and taxes. You can use your slider bar here to look at the different years within the chart. And if we click out of that, by turning on your details, you are also able to turn on your legend and see what the different colors denote within the plan. Next, we're going to add in a savings account. I'm going to click my plus button here and enter in a savings. So savings and investments, we're going to move this to savings. So this is going to be owned jointly by Jane and John, and this is their family savings account. This currently has a balance of $20,000, and let's say that they put in $1,200 annually to this account, and we'll say that those contributions will start today and end at retirement. I also want to put a withdrawal limit on this account so that the software doesn't use it in years where there is a shortfall. I would like for this to be treated as a true emergency fund. So we're going to set a minimum balance of $20,000 and we're going to click done. Next, we're going to enter in an investment account, go back to our plus button and then the savings and investments tab and go to savings and investments. We are going to just call this our brokerage account. We are going to give this a balance of $100,000 with a contribution of $250 monthly until retirement. So you'll notice that it's now giving you a cue to update the timing. I am going to start those contributions today and end them at retirement. If you go to your growth tab, you will notice that the growth listed on this account is pulling through from our plan settings 5%. You are able to edit this here, and if you have customized portfolios listed in the plan, you are able to select one of those here. All right, I am going to click Done. We've now entered this into the plan, and you will start seeing some funds being used in retirement to cover expected expenses, and that's all coming from the investment and savings account. Another way to double check what it's doing is going to your year view again in the investments tab, and you can see year on year any contributions going in, and then if we get over to retirement, you can start seeing the withdrawals being taken. I also want to enter in their retirement accounts. I'm going to go back to my plus button, enter in retirement. So we're going to enter in Jane's 401k. It currently has a balance of $200,000. Currently has a balance of $200,000. And the contribution is a percent of income, which is 5%. There is an employer contribution, so we're going to select yes, and it is matching. You are going to want to link Jane's employment to this account. We go to our growth tab. You'll again see that the default growth rate of 5% is going to pull through, but you can edit it here. And our timing automatically assumes that contributions begin now and end at the retirement event. I'm going to do the same for John and add in his 401k. Currently has $300,000 in this account, and it is also a percent of income at 4%. His employer is matching it at 100%, and we're going to link his employment. I'm going to click Done. So you'll see now that pulling through into the plan in the retirement years. The dark blue denotes retirement savings, and you again can go to your year view, look at retirement, and see what happens over the years as far as contributions, and when you get into the retirement years, any withdrawals. As you can see, the dark blue enters the plan at age 69, and you can see this large withdrawal in that year. Next thing I want to enter, I'm going to go back to my dashboard and enter in their expected Social Security. I'm just going to estimate from income, and we're going to save and add another, and then add in John's. Again, we're just estimating from current income. You can adjust the timing of when you want them to start taking their Social Security benefits, but the software will default to age 67. Click Done. And as that's added into the plan, we'll see more color, including this dark purple here. The next thing we're going to do is enter in their property. Clicking my plus button, property, this is their main residence. It has a current market value of $600,000, a purchase value of $450,000, and we're going to link a mortgage debt to this property. The great thing about doing this is that the software is smart enough to pay off this debt and remove it from the system should you ever need to sell this property. So we're going to add in this mortgage debt, which is currently $367,000 at a 3% interest rate. And let's just say they have 20 years left on this debt. And we're going to click Done. So you can now see that there is a linked debt in this field. On the point of ever selling this property, you can do that by simply going to the timing section of your property, and you'll see here the sell event is automatically assumed to be the mortality event, but you can change it to a different event. For example, if they wanted to downsize at age 75, or you can just double click anywhere here on the timeline, name it sell event, and hit set as end event. Okay, I'm going to click Done. Now the next thing I want to show you is our charts. So we're going to go over to the Let's See tab and do single chart. If you hide all, That brings us back to simply the expense profile. What is there in the plan to meet these expenses? You can start with your employment earnings, your retirement savings, taxable savings, and Social Security, and you're showing over time how you are meeting these expenses with planning. Even from year one, Voyant can be used as a tool to instigate the discussion around what are your expenses? Do you have money left over at the end of the month? This is your surplus. How does that feel? What do you currently spend your money on, and what would you like to spend it on? So on. By going to the Let's See dual chart, you can compare cash flow versus assets. Finally, perhaps there are some scenarios they would like to look at. For example, early retirement, working part-time, taking a career break. To do this, you can create a what-if scenario. Well, for example, let's do a retire at 60 what-if plan. I'm going to create this plan. Go to our timeline and move these retirement events up to age 60. You'll note that we are currently in the retire at 60 what if plan. You can move between your base plan and your what if scenarios by simply clicking the name up here at the top right. And let's go back to our dual chart, and now we can compare our plans. So we've got our retire at 60 scenario and our retire at 65 scenario. You can view the cash flows and the assets and help them make decisions based on this information about when they would like to retire. I hope that you found this helpful. If you have any further questions, please email us at support@planwithvoyant.com, or simply click the name of your client as you're working in a plan and click Request Support. This will send us a link to your plan and allow us to answer any questions you might have about it. Thank you for listening.